Hey guys, what is up? DemAB here. Today I'm going to talk about building changeable products and how important it is to build a changeable product when you are a startup company. And the reason is I think that many startup companies out there will fail or lose a lot of time because they haven't built or prepared for a changeable product. So if you have an idea for a product or you're actually developing a product right now, listen to this video and you'll know what to avoid to save some time or save yourself from a startup failure. Let's get into the video. As many of you know, I've been working on a startup since September 2017. Now, since then, the idea has changed a lot about what we're actually developing. So, in the beginning, we thought we were developing an app in one form, and then it changed during the course of time, improving and actually revealing to us what the idea actually was. I covered this in a previous video that I call Ideas Never Come Fully Formed, they only become clear as you work on them. I got this video on my IGTV and I also got it on my YouTube channel, so check it out right now. I'm gonna put an info card right up there if you want to check it out later, so stay tuned for that video as well. My point with this video is that because an idea changes a lot during time, you have to be ready to change the product. That's a logical deduction. If you need to change your idea a lot, you have to change your product a lot because you will start developing it, and hopefully the idea has changed a lot since the first seed of the idea until you actually start developing the idea. Sometimes you start developing from the beginning. I think that's a mistake because the idea often develops a lot in the early stage and goes through a lot of stages, growing stages in the early phase of the idea, and you really need to back up your horses in the beginning to let the idea actually become what it is and then start building on it, and as you build it will change as well. And that's the point of this video, because an idea changes a lot in the beginning, and also while you're developing it into a product you need to guard yourself for these changes that may happen. Now, if you're building a physical product, make sure that you have like a basic shell. You break your idea down to its very essence and have that very essence and produce that very essence as your product version 1.0. And then you can add your different features on that product or change it a little bit to change your entire product. And that's fine, that's easy with a physical product. If you have to change your physical product completely, that's a whole different story. You'll probably start producing your product too early, and that will make you lose time. And those are the things that you have to avoid by not jumping the gun on producing your idea and really letting it grow in the beginning of the idea phase, and then start developing it as you actually have researched the idea and let it grow in all your minds for quite some time. You have to let it, cook a little bit before you can actually create the meal. If you're developing a tech product like me, then the story is a little bit different. You can just add things as you go quite easily, but you still have to have that very essence of the idea in the beginning. You have to build that thing, the most core thing about the idea, just the core. Build that and then build upon that to guard yourself from changing a lot of things in the application or the tech product that you're building. But there's also issues with choosing your tools when you're creating a tech product. Now, I'm gonna tell you a quick story about the study guide journey that we have. Basically, the journey that I've had with my startup company. And it's that in 2017, in September, we had this idea. It was basically an instruction handbook of study technique for young students. So we were basically going to schedule people and tell them what to do, when to do it when studying for a particular course or type of exam. Really researched that subject for like 2-3 months, and then we started building the application. And then once we started building it, in like May, we got a very early version of it and realized that this wasn't what we wanted to do. It wasn't a handbook that we were after, really. It was more of an interactive experience that we were after. So we wanted to change the product. And that was fine because we had a basic shell of what we wanted to do, and we just changed the content from being instructions to being interactive experiences like games. So that was fine. We had the core of the idea and then we built upon it. That was a good move. Now, there's one thing that we were really lucky about that we haven't realized until now, I think. And it's that we built this app as a cross-platform application. Now, what that means is that it will be able to run as an app that you can download from App Store or Google Play. And it will also be able to run through a link optimized for mobile, iPads, and your computers, your laptops and stuff. So it can run everywhere. It can run through a link and you can download it on the App Store and on Google Play. We took that choice very early in our development process just because I knew how to work with those tools. So that was pure luck. It was not like we had a strategy behind choosing that tool and choosing the application to be cross-platform. However, looking back, I think that many tech projects should definitely choose to go cross-platform. And here's the reason. We started developing a mind map module for the application, or almost what you can call a platform now. And we really wanted that mind map module to go into the app. Now, it's really hard to create a good experience of a mind map module in an application, because there's a lot of buttons and a lot of things you want to do when you want to view the whole mind map. So you got to be able to zoom out, zoom in, and that's kind of a pain in the ass when you're on a mobile phone. Now, if you're a cross-platform application, however, you can choose to do some activities on your phone and some activities on your computer, which improves the experience a lot and also tends to give users the choice of using the mobile phone only or the computer only, or a mix between them, depending on what device they're comfortable of. So you don't restrict the user to a specific device or a specific platform by only releasing it for Android or only for iOS or only for iOS or Android and not on the web. You're restricting your users if you do that. And that is bad business, because if you're restricting users on how to use your app, less people will use your app because they won't be comfortable with the device that you have released your application on. So this was pure luck, pure luck, something that I'm so thankful for right now. But as a tech project, guard yourself towards changes or your ideas that may come along the way, and make sure you're using tools that allows you to change the idea so much that it can actually go from being an application on a phone to an application on your computer. Now, I'm not saying that every application should be cross-platform and available for all devices. What I'm saying is try to be very clear on what devices you try to publish your app on, first and foremost, and focus on those, but make sure to have a backup plan or some plans on what you do if you have to change the device of which your application will be running on. So to summarize, if you have an idea, a project, or a startup, make sure that the idea that you're building into a product is changeable and you allow yourself to change it by, number one, waiting a little bit once you have that idea for the idea to actually grow and form and reveal itself to you to the core of what it actually is. And number two, build the core of the idea and then build upon that the things that you think you know right now and that you think you need for the product right now, but may change later. So have a core that doesn't change so much, that's kind of stable, and then once you've identified that core, you build it and then build the features around it, and then those features can easily be removed and you can easily put in new features into your physical or technical product. And number three, make sure that if you're building a tech product, guard yourself from the trap of restricting your users to a specific device. Make sure that you have a backup plan to go to other devices and other screen resolutions and such, so that you don't fail because you can't deliver on the device that your customer actually wants the application on. Okay, that's it for this video. Leave a comment if you thought this topic was particularly interesting, or if you have to say something about the concept that I just presented. Now, I want to remind you that I'm just here figuring out things as you may be. I'm learning things as I go in my startup, and I'm sharing them right here with you. If you have something that you want to share with me or with others, don't hesitate. Share it below so we all can take part of the value that you can provide. Please like and subscribe if you like my content, and I guess I'll see you guys next week. But until then, stay driven.